All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I have just short of 1 o'clock, so we will get started here in a minute. But as a preliminary, I want to thank everybody for attending our well, at least since I've been here, our fourth uh cybersecurity awareness workshop. And for this year, we once again have the great presence of Josh Tannehill.
Too
J10
kind,
is
too
he's known to
kind.
everybody. I first met Josh at one of the InfraGard meetings, and what struck me is he is probably the most passionate person that I have ever met about cybersecurity. He just he wants to talk about it, and he wants to do it in a way that helps people prepare themselves and protect themselves. So just a wonderful pleasure to have him with us today. For those of you who don't know J-Tan, and that's probably very few of you, but if you're here, J-Tan is as an Air Force vet where he spent many years doing IT work for the Air Force, and now his after retirement in 2019 is now doing it in the civilian sector, and has been both a traditional guardsman and has been activated on several different occasions, including Noble Eagle and Iraqi Freedom. So, Jaytan, if you will, I'll let you drive from here on out. But I want to say as far as NIMSAT and University of Louisiana, thank you very much for your time and your commitment to this program and continuing to support us with these webinars. You always have a lot of great information to share, and I look forward to another one with you today.
Man, what a great introduction. Thank you, Colonel Williams. Um, yeah, so honored to be here today. I love everything the Louisiana Business EOC is doing. I love everything GOSEF's doing. I love being a part of this great state of Louisiana and helping make us a hardened target. So I'll jump into my slide deck here because it kind of covers some uh, some stuff just to kind of get to know me. So I do currently work as a technical sales consultant, as a cybersecurity subject matter expert for global data systems. They're the ones that pay my bills for me and allow me to take time from work and come, do the public speaking circuit. October is a busy time of the month for me every year because of Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and I love it. And November is a busy time of the year for me as well because I'm a veteran and I get involved in all the veterans programs here in the state, especially in Lake Charles. I do live in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I'm originally a Yankee Louisianian. I'm originally from Monroe, Louisiana. I'm north of I-10. But I saw a new joke yesterday. I always lead with dad jokes any public speaking I do. And this is a new joke I just learned yesterday from one of my old employees when I was with CenturyLink. She sent me a Facebook joke yesterday and it was perfect. It goes, "What do you call a fat Cajun?" I guess I should say politically correct, an overweight Cajun. And the answer is an overweight Cajun who lies a lot. They're always telling lies. And the answer is a jambalaya. Anyway, so dad joke out. Actually, I do have more dad jokes later, but yeah, joined the Air Force in 1996 out of Monroe. Iraq War veteran, proudly served. I did not proudly serve in the Alabama Air National Guard. I got sick of the Roll Tide and War Eagles, but I did serve in the Alabama Air National Guard for 3 painful years out of Montgomery, Alabama. They had the Red Tails. They're cool jets from honor of Tuskegee Airmen. But I did finish out my career with the Louisiana Air National Guard, and this picture is from me kissing an alligator during Hurricane Isaac flood hurricane relief. I also am the founder of the Southwest Louisiana Cybersecurity Club. I helped founded DEF CON Acadiana, a monthly cybersecurity meetup in Lafayette. I founded Neelatech, a monthly cybersecurity meetup in Monroe. I helped Mark Liggett start BRSec, the Baton Rouge cybersecurity meetup in Baton Rouge. I helped restart NOLA Sec or NOLA Con, no, NOLA Sec, the monthly cybersecurity meetup in New Orleans. The pandemic hit and it kind of stopped, but we kind of rebooted it, and then it's died down again. But we're about to try to start getting NOLA, the monthly cybersecurity meetup in New Orleans, started again. And I do a lot of public speaking on cybersecurity. This picture over here is from the Imperial Calcasieu Society of Human Resource Manager had me over as a guest speaker to talk about, how cybersecurity impacts HR and things of that nature. So this is right in my wheelhouse. I am very passionate about cybersecurity, trying to help people, and I kind of pride myself on taking complex, cybersecurity technical things and breaking them down into language that the average non-techie person and the average business owner can understand. I'm also the VP and the Communications Sector Chief for InfraGard Louisiana. That's how Colonel Williams and I met. If you're not involved in InfraGard and you do work in the critical infrastructure sectors, there's 16 of them, you should definitely check out InfraGard. It's a great resource of cybersecurity information, wealth of knowledge. It's a nonprofit organization. Their goal is to help the FBI protect our critical infrastructure. So we partner with the FBI here in Louisiana. We partner with critical infrastructure employees, safety, security personnel at these major industries here in Louisiana, and we just try to help share information and help not only help the FBI protect our critical infrastructure from a cyber attack, before the boom happens, get left to boom, but we also want to make sure we have those relationships with our key partners and FBI partners. If the boom does happen, you don't want to be getting to know somebody in an emergency. You want to have those pre-existing relationships. So InfraGard is really good about that. So I hope you guys check that out. And then whenever I was in the Louisiana Air National Guard in 2019, we got hit. The state of Louisiana got hit with a major cyber attack, and the DMV went down. Like all these state government resources were down, and that helped the Louisiana National Guard understand that we need to do something different. We have a limited number of military personnel that can help the state out on the National Guard side with the skills needed for incident response and cyber recovery. And so we started the State Guard. I say we, I didn't start it, but I got tapped, I got appointed as the number two person in charge of the Louisiana State Guard Cyber Reserve. I'm a chief warrant officer. It's a volunteer role, but if we get activated on some sort of recovery response mission, I will get paid at a chief warrant officer pay grade. But I'm the cyber operations officer, and we're actively recruiting. There's 9 different GOSEP regions, and we want 10 personnel, 10 civilian, non-military civilian personnel in each of those regions across the state. That way, if there is like a school board get hit, and you need 10 people to go help reimage thousands of machines, we can tap some people on the shoulder who are already pre-positioned in that region of GOSEP region and who have a basic understanding of what a computer is and how to reimage things and other things. So hit me up if you got any questions about that. But this just kind of shows what I'm trying to do with what I'm showing you now. It's not to brag, it's to show you that I am passionate, I am involved in all things cybersecurity in the state of Louisiana. Um, I'm also the president of the Louisiana chapter of the Cloud Security Alliance. I'm actively looking for some vendor sponsors, some businesses that want to help me sponsor an event. This is all about raising awareness about cloud security. Cloud is basically our data in someone else's computer, and how do we protect our data in someone else's computer? So that's what CSA is about. It's another national nonprofit organization, and I want to make sure Louisiana can tap into those resources or cybersecurity certifications associated with that might help you, your business, etc. And here's another dad joke, a little bit about me. I do have a cat. Her name is Eve. She was born in my outdoor patio, like the soffit, the between my patio roof outdoor and whatnot. But do you know what her favorite color is? It's purple. All right, moving on. It's better. That joke's better when I'm in front of a live audience and I can see their reaction. Oh, hey, I see Mark's on. Hey, Mark, you've probably heard that joke already. All right, so here's why we're here today. We're here to talk about the cybersecurity trends that are impacting, businesses in Louisiana. So I'm going to start wider, and I'm going to start cybersecurity trends impacting the world. And this is per the Internet Cybersecurity Storm Center or the crime report by the FBI. If there is a cyber attack and you want to report it, you would report it to ic3.gov. So these stats, my partnership with the FBI has allowed me to get a hold of some of these stats. And this is from my FBI buddies who taught me this. But yeah, according to IC3 back in 2023, the USA led the whole world in cyber and being a victim of cyber attacks. And then again, this is reported to IC3. Obviously, there's millions of attacks every day that probably miss us or they're not reported, or the minimum they're not reported. But these are reported. USA was number one in victims. So what does that say? It says, we're a target. We being Americans, businesses that operate in the US of A. UK, surprisingly, and look, we nearly doubled the next number two. So that's kind of surprising to me. So the FBI received an average of 2,412 internet fraud complaints daily, again, by the IC3. And per the Verizon Business report, that's a really good report that gets you, if you came to this topic today wanting to learn about trends, cybersecurity trends impacting businesses, well, this Verizon Business report is a great resource for you throughout the year to reference. 95% of breaches were financially motivated. That's no surprise. They want money. They might want to ransomware you and deface you, but really the ultimate goal is typically money. 74% include the human element, and we'll get to the human element later. Um, Over here, you can see the average time to exploit vulnerabilities. So vulnerabilities are we're being made aware of vulnerabilities daily, weekly, monthly. And so if there's like Fortinet, I just set an email across my desk today about Fortinet. Apparently there's a major Fortinet breach. And I'm not picking on Fortinet. I got friends in Fortinet. It's a great company. But Microsoft, Cisco, you name it, all these big companies are going to have some vulnerabilities. And Fortinet just happens to be the most recent one. And so I found out about it today, but I think it was reported yesterday. So that means the average time to exploit a vulnerability is 44 days. So just because a computer system or a server or some software has a vulnerability doesn't mean the bad actors out in the wild actively know how to actively exploit it. Typically, you got to have the vulnerability, and then you got to know how to exploit the vulnerability. Vulnerability alone is not bad. It's just the risk. The exploit with the vulnerability, that's where it gets bad. And so the average time to exploit a vulnerability is 44 days as of last year. 25% of the vulnerability is exploited on the first day of publication. So it is not out of question to think that Fortinet vulnerability that I found about today that was announced yesterday, it's probably already being exploited out in the wild today, right now. Oop, I want to go back. Previous. Well, so this is the source of this was Qualys, which is a cybersecurity vulnerability type of company. All right, so who's trying to get us here in Louisiana? Well, who's trying to get us is pretty national as well, globally as well. We're not really much different here in Louisiana about who's trying to get us. Hacktivists, they use computer network exploitation to advance their political or social causes. So they may not want money directly, but you could have your website defaced. Let's say your oil and gas industry and you are doing for your pro fracking, I don't know, and conservationists think that you're ruining, the earth and you're the reason there's climate change. Somebody could want to put you out of business, not necessarily, not that they want money from you, but they just want you to stop harming the earth. That might be an example of what a hacktivist is trying to do for you. Crime, obviously, you get it. And insider. Now, this is something the FBI is good about, having insider threat programs. And if you, as a small business owner or a medium business owner, don't have an insider threat program, you might want to look into getting one, because insiders are trusted insiders that steal your proprietary information for personal or financial gain or ideological reasons. If your insider threat program stops at your background check that you have for onboarding, you may want to consider taking it a little bit further. And you can get with me offline if you want to know what are some inexpensive or free ways to take your insider threat program a little bit farther than the basic HR background check. I've got some ideas for you. Um, because shameless self plug, I just recently started JTAN LLC, where I can help, small businesses and also help individual residential consumers with their cybersecurity related questions. So if you have insider threat questions, obviously Global Data Systems is here to help you. There's tons of people who can help you, but I'm one of those resources. Espionage, this is where you're going to have your nation state actors. China, People Republic of China just made my LinkedIn feed by the FBI recently because it's known that they're attacking the critical infrastructure sector of communications, the communications sector, your ISPs, your Lumens, your AT&Ts, your Verizons, your Cox Cable, Internet, these type of communications companies right now, today, are being targeted by the People Republic of China. Um, and that would be what I would consider probably nation state sponsored espionage. Um, and, you know, Let me go on a soapbox here for a minute. China is always out to steal our intellectual property. They're notorious for it. But the average Chinese person is not bad. The average Chinese person in that country doesn't care about you or me or our business. But that government, absolutely. They're trying to protect their way of life. They're trying to protect their way of life over there. They don't have a lot of things. And so bad people are doing bad things to steal our intellectual property so they can reproduce the same quality work that we're doing, but cheaper. They want to be a world power. So I don't want you to hate China. I don't like what China government's doing, but I just thought I would make that distinction there. Terrorism. Terrorist groups sabotage computer systems that operate are critical. And sometimes this terrorist doesn't have to be, ISIS or anything like that. Sometimes you have domestic terrorism. I remember a few years ago in Nashville, Tennessee, AT&T got hit by a bomb. Somebody blew up a bomb on the streets of Nashville, and that caused an outage. So yeah, there's definitely terrorism that can cause an outage to you and your business. Warfare. When it comes to warfare, there is something I want to mention because I am the communications sector chief for InfraGard Louisiana chapter. Whenever the news came about where Israel and I forget what's their Mossad or whatever, they came out and they did the exploding pagers. Y'all, that scares me to a new level. That talks about supply chain vulnerabilities. That uses communication equipment as an actual bomb. I never even imagined that. What's next? A router or an electric vehicle battery, an EV battery? What if you can make that explode? Man, that was definitely eye-opening. So, but yeah, there's warfare. You can use cyber equipment now and cyber attacks as acts of war. And I wonder with this People Republic of China actually, attacking our critical infrastructure sectors and our communication sector, is that an act of war? I have that question on my LinkedIn page if anybody wants to find me on LinkedIn and chime in. Where does active war begin or end when it comes to other, other nation state countries attacking our critical infrastructure? All right, next. So how are the hackers hacking? Well, the trends are it's been the same for years, y'all. It should be no surprise. An email containing a malicious file or link which deploys malware. Um, that's the trend. Email is still the number one attack vector for these hackers. I would say a number two attack vector is vulnerable, unpatched software and systems. But when it comes to emails, know about spear phishing. That's a targeted attack. If I go to your Facebook page and I do all my intelligence gathering about your wife, your dog, your kids, your school, I might be able to take all that OPSEC, operational security. I might be able to piece together, data that alone you don't think tells a big story, A loan is not sensitive. Like your dog's name is Spot. That by itself is not a big deal. But if I take all this unclassified, this lack of sensitive data, and I piece it together, now I might be able to target you for a targeted attack. Now, if you're an executive with of a big company, or you're an executive and I know you got access to millions of dollars, I may want to spend my time hacking you rather than hacking someone who's broke with poor credit. So if I want to target someone that is a good source for maybe my financial crime motive, I want to target an executive, for example. That would be called whaling. Um, URL phishing. Be mindful of these clone web pages. If I send you a specially crafted email pretending I'm your bank and I have a link in there to a bank website, be cautious. That may not really be your bank. That might be my hacker website pretending to be your bank. Those types of attacks are still out there. Smishing, which is basically sending SMS text to try to establish a relationship with you, try to groom you into trusting, and then eventually take that into some sort of fraud. I got a text the other day that said from an unknown number, and it's just like, "Hey, are we still meeting up?" Or "Hey, I meant to text you back. You still okay?" Something random like that, and the goal is to try to trick me into responding. If you're not saved in my phone, I am not responding. I don't care if I miss a business opportunity or whatever. That's a risk I'm going to have to take. Chances are it's most likely just an unsolicited smishing attack against me. Excuse me, vishing, voice over IP. Be careful with AI and how they're using these deep fakes. I could send you a deep fake video. I could call you emulating your grandchild saying, "I just got in a car wreck, send money." So that's an example of vishing. About 91% of cyber attacks start with an email. Yeah, today we're here talking about trends impacting businesses in Louisiana. Well, this is the one, y'all. If you do not have cybersecurity awareness training for your business, for your employees, if you don't have email security, email filters, email gateways, you absolutely need to get that. That'll definitely help you because as you can see, this is a major vector still today. Um, your meeting will end in 10 minutes. I think we're right on time here. And I will be taking questions at the end, so don't worry. This initial contact me email. Oh yeah, fake tech support. This is something that is actually hitting consumers, residential consumers. This is a real deal. If you guys saw The Beekeeper, it's a great movie, and it talks about this fake tech support scam where this victim, it's fictional, but it does emulate real life. A victim got a pop-up on her computer screen. It said, I said, hey, you might have been hacked. Call this number, we'll help you. But the number was actually the fraudulent attackers trying to drain her account. And actually, this happened to my neighbor, my next door neighbor, bless her heart. She did a Google search looking for chicken salad recipes. And her first link that popped at Google return, it was a malicious link. She clicked it to go find her chicken salad recipe, and then she got an annoying sound. Not only did the pop-up say call this tech support number, it also had a very loud noise that came off her computer speakers. Imagine an annoying alarm sound. I'm not going to reproduce it, but that's the type of noise it made. And so, of course, that got her attention. And she called, and luckily, she was able to figure out, even though it was a PC, it was a desktop tower PC that she was using, the hackers were immediately trying to get her to go to her iPhone's digital wallet to do some things. And that was a clue to her that, wait, this is my desktop computer. Why are you trying to go to my digital wallet on my iPhone? So she was able to prevent some heartache there. So some preventative measures. What can you do there with your business or your home to protect yourself? I mean, man, we keep the blocking and tackling. Poor LSU, if you watched that game Saturday, LSU was not blocking and tackling very well. They didn't have the core tenets to be a successful team. They weren't doing the core things, the basics. These are the basics right here. You've got to use multi-factor authentication right now. Passwords and especially weak passwords alone are not good enough. You're going to want to have something like a password and something you have physically like a smartphone or a token or something you are, like your biological fingerprints or your retina scan. A combination of two or more of those will really help protect your identity. Um, Verify the implementation of appropriate hardening measures, change, remove, deactivate all default credentials. Once you get your business network safe and secure, you can't rest and be like, I did it once this year, I'm good this year. You've got to stay on top of it. You've got to harden your facility, your computers, your servers. You've got to have a program in place where you're monitoring and checking that, not just, once a year, but monthly for sure, weekly if possible, and daily would obviously be good too. And then implement network segregation controls. That'll help you. A basic example of this is if you have a coffee shop and you've got a computer network that you run your business on and your point of sale system, et cetera, you want to keep that separate from the transient customers who walk in and connect to your guest Wi-Fi. That's just a basic example of some network segregation controls that you can be thinking of. That way, if something bad does happen, it might not hurt everything and you can recover quicker. Preventative measures continued. So I definitely want to mention cybersecurity awareness training. If you can train your employees to detect these types of scams, these phishing emails before they fall victim to it, that'll save you a lot of heartache. Know4 is somebody I partner with. I highly recommend them. And then also, if you have a good cybersecurity awareness training, you also might be able to lower your cybersecurity insurance. If all else fails and you do all the things you can to protect your business with cybersecurity controls, cybersecurity companies, software vendors, whatever, and you still get hacked, well, you can recover quicker maybe if you have some cybersecurity insurance and you can be whole again. And so cybersecurity awareness training might help lower your premiums if you do get that cybersecurity insurance. And I can help you with both of those, of course. And then MSP, if you're a small business, you probably aren't doing your IT yourself. You're probably going to partner with a small business, or excuse me, a managed security service provider, or get some sort of virtual CISO, a cybersecurity information security officer, to help you out. I'm not just saying me. I mean, obviously, I'm willing to help, but there's tons of great companies here in Louisiana that want to help you protect yourself and your cybersecurity of your business and your customers. Also, you can do some tabletop exercise. This may not prevent the attack, but if you do come in some sort of disaster response, having these tabletop exercises under your belt will help you recover quicker. And my buddy Bob, my the COO of Global Days, does a great tabletop exercise. It's free. This is for all of America to use for free, yourself included. And that's it. That's all I had for you guys today. You can connect with me on social media. I'm active on LinkedIn, and that's probably the best way to find me. I'm Joshua J. Tannehill on LinkedIn. So, Colonel Williams, turn it back to you, sir.
Hey, Josh, this what a great presentation. But I had and you kind of touched on a couple of things I wanted to follow up with you. Um, and you kind of touched a little bit on how AI is changing the landscape of cybersecurity and how
Hmm.
people are using deep fakes. Are there any other like I've heard a statistic that it takes probably about 15 seconds of audio or visual uh recording to be able to mimic someone. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds accurate. I'm not going to
Okay.
dispute that by any means. I haven't researched that. I'm definitely not an AI expert. I want to be clear on that.
Mhm.
I'm JTan, the cybersecurity man, but AI is definitely changing the cybersecurity game. So I've got to up my game or I'm going to get left behind. So I have been doing a lot of research on AI, specifically with how it's changing the cybersecurity landscape. And for every good advantage that AI has for us as business owners, as cybersecurity and IT professionals, it also has those same type of advantages for the criminals. You got to
Yeah.
remember, AI is a tool, just like my computer's a tool, internet's a tool.
Right.
AI is a tool, and if I use it properly for good, I can increase my business productivity. I can decrease my time to make informed decisions to lead strategy of my company. But all those same benefits I have as a good guy, the bad guys also have. And so they're leveraging AI for bad. They're using that tool. You got a hammer could build a house, or a hammer could bash someone over a skull. And unfortunately, the bad guys are using AI for bad. But that does sound right. I would imagine 15 sec like you saw, it's election season right now. I'd be
Right.
remiss to not talk about election security. Someone can put a video of your favorite candidate saying something that you absolutely hate or love, or the other candidate, something you hate or love, to try to manipulate your
Yeah.
mind with these disinformation campaigns.
Yeah.
Um, and so one last thing on AI that I would like to say is I read a book recently. It's called The AI Driven Leader by Jeff Woods. I highly recommend every one of you put that on your reading list right now. It's called AI Driven Leader by Jeff Woods. And Jeff is spelled the giraffe way, Geoff. Jeff Woods, the AI driven leader. And that book just opens my mind to these capabilities of AI. The AI train has left the station. We need to get on it. We're going to be left behind. So that's what I'll say about that.
Um, in your experience, kind of basing this off of what were talking about, um, the attacks that are coming, are they more of criminals looking to make a buck, or is it nation states?
Well, it's both. It depends on the victim. So nation states aren't necessarily going after your local small businesses.
Right.
Typically, your nation states are going after your core critical infrastructure sectors and your government. However, what I think I know, I'll put a caveat there, is sometimes these terrorist organizations or these nation states will go after these small businesses. And the reason is they use the finances gained to finance their crime ring. So typically it's going to be your terrorist organizations or your crime ring because they're trying to finance their terrorist organization. Nation states, the financial gain there isn't as the financial need for the nation states isn't as much. They're really after that intellectual property, from what I understand. So I would say most of the financial.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Jim Williams from the BEOC. My apologies. Um, the cybersecurity seminar ended abruptly, and it's my fault. I was logged in under my university account, which only gives me about 45 minutes of meeting time. I thought I was under my personal account, which I subscribe to, which would have given me an unlimited amount of time. And as I was trying to navigate that, the meeting ended before I could figure myself out. So my apologies. I hope everyone enjoyed Tan's webinar. It was phenomenal. He did a terrific job, and there's a lot of tips and tricks that are in there for everyone to hold on to. So thank you very much. And again, my apologies for being cut off before we can really go into some question and answers with everyone else. Thank you.